Nation. Welcome back to the Sooner Surge. Make sure you check out the Fan Stop at thefanstop.com. Sign up for the Shirt of the Month Club. Use code SURGE. Get 10% off your first 3 months. Also, they have a great new hat, upside down Longhorn hat. Jay may have it there. Look at that. Go online, thefanstop.com, and get yours today. Listen, OU's defense through 2 games has done the job that has been asked of them. In fact, you could argue that the defense won them the game versus Houston 3 nights ago at the Palace on the Prairie, the safety by Grayson Halton. Both games, guys, they continue to hold the opponent to a very low average on first down, which is one of the keys. Haven't had a lot of busts in the passing game, guys, but the schedule's about to get tougher. Tulane coming into town this weekend for a 2:30 kick, and then just been announced that Tennessee, Oklahoma, 6:30 kick on ABC. A lot of stiff competition getting ready to happen. Is this defense dominant, guys?
I think we're going to find out, because I think it's fair for a lot of fans, and I know there are a lot of fans that are hesitant right now with this defense based off Brent Venables' first 2 seasons when they've looked absolutely dominant in non-conference. If you go back 2 years ago, if you remember, they looked pretty dominant all the way through Nebraska. And then after that, kind of came back to earth. Last year, pretty dominant. You know, that first Big 12 test on the road against Cincinnati, they were dominant. And then as the year went on, whether it be injuries, whether it be them just not playing good, they kind of went backwards a little bit. So I think people are hesitant to see. Now, this Tulane game on Saturday will be the best offense they've played, bar none, not even close. They are a fast offense. Their quarterback is good. He is. He's a dual threat. I think it's a great matchup because it kind of gets you a little bit maybe in some way ready for Nico. Not really, because Nico's just on a different level, but the same type quarterback. It'll be a really good test for this Oklahoma team to see. I think the thing that separates this defense, because I am very high on this defense, I think it's a top 3 defense in the SEC. And my reasoning is I think they're deeper than they've been, where they can plug guys in with injuries or whatever, and they don't miss very much beat at all. So that's kind of where I'm banking on right now. And they're way better up front, I think. So.
Right, Jay. Something that you said was that the defense has dominated these games within non-conference play. But something that's different about this defense compared to those is this defensive line has been more dominant than the other 2 years were. This is a defensive line that I can comfortably say is probably top 3 at stopping the run in the SEC for sure. Because on the inside, Jaden Jackson, Dejon Terry, Dominic Williams, Grayson Halton, those 4 guys have all played really good football. And it all starts up front. And then you have experience in Ethan Downs and Caden Woolard and R. Mason Thomas. He's flashed some. He's finally healthy. Hopefully he can put it all together and be a really good defensive lineman when it comes to SEC play. And Danny Stutzman continues to be Danny Stutzman. It's like every single game I watch Danny Stutzman play, I'm sure you guys can say the same thing. He just continues to amaze me in how he dominates the game. I mean, versus Houston, he had 15 tackles, but he said after the game he felt like he played like crap. And honestly, if he wanted to, he probably could have had 20-plus tackles against Houston. And the secondary, they've only had 1 bust, and that was a touchdown against Houston. They weren't lined up in time. And, Jason, something that you said was that this is a Tulane offense that plays fast. And their 1 bust was whenever Houston started to go fast, started to speed up the game a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see how fast can this defense get lined up in the right way, because really these last 2 years we've seen them at times whenever teams go fast on them, they seem to have a struggle to get lined up, which I'm not sure why. So hopefully we can see a fix on that. And this defense as well, they've been tackling extremely well in space. That's been something I've been very pleased with. And Jason, you said it, you believe this is a top 3 defense in the SEC. I don't see any reason why this defense should get any worse over the course of the season, but injuries can happen. And let's just hope that this is a defense that is probably – actually not probably – is going to have to win OU some games this year in the SEC, especially if the offense can't fix things.
It's too early to tell if they're going to be the top of the SEC. It's way too early to tell that. I'm happy with what I've seen on many levels, from all levels, from the defensive line to the middle of the defense to the back end of the defense. It's been good all the way around. They've got turnovers. They get the key safety with Grayson Halton with the game literally on the line. But the biggest key, as you mentioned, Jay, is the depth. Listen, OU continue to play many defensive backs in a 2-point game the other night. They didn't just go with the guys they rolled out at the beginning. They were rotating guys through on the edge, in the secondary. I think that highlights that Brent Venables more trustworthy, more comfortable with the depth that they have. That should kind of translate later into the season.
Yeah, and one thing I took from last week's game and listening to Brent Venables talk about it on his coach's show is the one bust they did have was a coach issue, because they didn't get the play in time. They were confused. They didn't get lined up. They were too late getting it in. So what that tells me is that in years past, I think a lot of the busts have been because players were in the wrong position or they missed an assignment. This to me was more they didn't get the play in. So now granted, and I am not going to sit here and tell you that this is the best defense ever to walk on land, because I don't believe that. But they've played 2 games. They've looked really good. Now, we will know, and hear me out, we won't know anything about this defense until after Tennessee, Tulane and Tennessee. Those 2 games, I think, will tell you enough of whether, I think after Tennessee, that's Tulane and then Tennessee, if they play really sound and really good defense in those 2 games, I think it is fair to say that the defense will have you in every game. I do think. But you have to wait and see 2 more weeks. But I like what I see so far. I'll just say that.
Yeah, Jay, I agree. I like what I've seen. And especially, I'm going to highlight a single player in Grayson Halton. I don't think there's been a more disruptive defensive lineman than Grayson Halton. This is someone who last year played in a limited role. We saw him some towards the beginning of the year. Towards the end of the year, you didn't really see him as much. And this year, really, he's taken advantage of all the opportunities he's gotten. I'm not exactly sure how many sacks and TFLs he has so far, but it's probably between 2.5 to 3 TFLs, and I would say a sack or 2. I mean, he's someone that's just been playing extremely great football. And as I said earlier, this defensive line, this is the best defensive line Oklahoma's had in a good amount of time. And obviously, Jason, Jeremy, you guys both have said it. This is not a defense that is going to prove anything till SEC play starts. That's whenever you're going to see their true colors, see who they actually are as a team. But so far, I think we can all agree that the defense has played very well, and we all can say we're really pleased with the defense at this point.
Yeah, guys, there's a quote, inch by inch, it's a cinch, yard by yard, it's hard. They got to take one step at a time, continue doing the little things, and see how dominant this defense can be. Sooner fans, thanks for watching the content here at the Sooner Surge. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and do us a favor and check out the Fan Stop at thefanstop.com. How dominant is this year's defense? Drop it in the chat, in the comments. We'll see you next time.